Hey, what's up, guys? So, I want to ask an opinion of you guys. Do you guys think Richard Allen is innocent or guilty? Personally, I think Richard Allen is innocent because, if you look at everything that he's went through, the mental and the physical abuse at the prison. Mind you, this guy was arrested for the murders of Abby and Libby, and instead of putting him in the county jail, they put him in the prison. Without being convicted of anything. And when I heard that, I'm like, why would you put somebody in prison or being held in prison that hasn't been convicted of anything? Because most normally you keep them in the county jail. And I'm wondering, guys, if all those confessions that he allegedly made, if he wasn't under duress because of all the abuse that he received. And it just makes you wonder. It makes you think if he wasn't under duress. Because he was pleading to stuff that he wasn't even a part of. And it's just the fact that uh, he was free for 5 years after the murders of Abby and Libby. I don't think he did it because the bridge guy, if you all remember the original sketch that came out about the bridge guy, didn't look nothing like Richard Allen. It looked like Sean Evans, the mayor of Delphi. That's who it looked like. And then they came out with that updated sketch, which looked like Richard Allen. I think there's tremendous cover up in this case. Just like Vinnie Politan said, could he be the patsy? Could he be being set up for whoever committed the murders? Quite possibly, yeah. Richard Allen could be a patsy. Because if you look at it, guys, his DNA wasn't even under the fingernails of Abby and Libby. Yeah, they found an unspent uh, bullet there at the scene that they claim was Richard Allen's. But how do we know if that wasn't planted by somebody trying to frame Richard Allen? Because there's all this talk of Odinism going on there in Delphi. That could be a very big possibility. There could be some type of Odinism going on there in Delphi because if you look at the guards in the prison, they would walk around with Odinist patches on, and that brings me to Judge Gall. She banned cameras from inside the courtroom. They always say, "What's done in darkness shall be brought to light." And Judge Gall even took away his defense attorneys at one point before the trial started. And they had to go to the Supreme Court just to get put back on the case. So what does that tell you about Judge Gall? I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. Everything with this case, guys, smells like a setup. It smells like they're trying to set up Richard Allen because they don't want the real perpetrators being caught. Because if you look at Bridge Guy, he doesn't look like Richard Allen. He looks like Sean Evans, the mayor of Delphi. Just by the way he walks, too. And the way he says, down the bridge. Or, no, down the hill. That didn't even sound like Richard Allen. It didn't. It didn't sound like Richard Allen. And just the way the bodies were found. Ritualistic is the way they were found. And there was runes around them. I don't think Richard Allen's an Odinist. No, I do not. I don't think he's an Odinist. I know the correctional officers wear Odinist patches around. They're Odinists more than likely. So what do we know about this case? Richard Allen, who quite possibly might be innocent, and they had him so drugged up and so mentally and physically abused while he was being held in the prison. Now, mind you, still, he hadn't been convicted of any crime, and they had him being held in prison. Why not hold him in the county jail? Is there no Odinist in the county jail there in Delphi? Or is the Odinist only in the prison system? And I go back to that, the DNA. There was none of Richard Allen's DNA found on the victims, and the DNA under the fingernails was not Richard Allen's. And even the eyewitness descriptions didn't match Richard Allen. If it's not Richard Allen, guys, then who is it? Who is Delphi trying to protect in this case? Maybe somebody with who's influential, like say a mayor. That's just the thing. Could it be one of those corrections officers that has the Odinist patches? Could it be one of them? Quite possibly, it could be anybody. Because if you have a sheriff telling the jury his DNA did not match the DNA underneath Albie and Libby's fingernails, and he did not match the eyewitness descriptions. Come on, guys, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? There's something rotten in Delphi. There really is. There is something rotten in that town. If you have a sheriff stating those two things, that his DNA didn't match and the witness description didn't match. Okay, so whose DNA matches and whose witness description matches? Will we ever find out? Sorry, I gotta get my fireplace back on. There we go, guys. I hate ads. But I mean, what are we gonna learn from this Delphi trial? I mean, the jury has the case. They deliberated on it for 2 hours. Then they decided they wanted to go home early. And mind you, the jury is in complete sequester. They can't have their phones. They can't watch TV. They can't listen to the radio. If they want to get a hold of their family, a bailiff will bring their phone in, let them get a hold of their family, take the phone away again. If they have any emails from work, the bailiff will bring in a laptop or a tablet to let them check their emails and then take it away again. They're in complete sequester. They're not even allowed to deliberate at the hotel. Judge Gall's orders. It just makes you wonder, guys. It really does. It makes you wonder exactly what's going on in this case. I feel sorry for Richard Allen. I really do. Guys, I feel sorry for him. He was bullied by the guards. He was mentally and emotionally abused. He was physically abused. I mean, for a long time, he was so thin, I thought he was going to die. I really did. I thought Richard Allen was going to die of starvation or something like that because of how the guards were treating him. Just imagine if Richard Allen was up in Moscow, Idaho. He'd be taken care of good at the Latah County Jail or at the Ada County Jail. Imagine, guys, imagine if Brian switched places with Richard Allen and Richard Allen switched places with Brian. Brian would be physically and emotionally abused, and Richard Allen would be taken care of in Ada County. I feel sorry for both of those guys. I really do. Mainly, I feel sorry for Richard Allen. Because do we know if, we know Indiana has the death penalty, but do we know if he's being charged with the death, if this case is a death penalty case, or is it a life in prison case? Somebody down in the comments let me know. But I think he's innocent. I do. I think Richard Allen is innocent. I don't think he committed this atrocity. I think somebody else did, and he's just the fall guy for them. He's taking the rap. I mean, even his wife told him to shut up and lawyer up when he was doing these quote unquote confessions. She told him to shut up and lawyer up because she could tell he wasn't in his right mind. And do you, my viewers, blame him? Look how he was treated when he was being held in that prison. My God. I would crack under the pressure too of what all they did to him. I really would, guys. I would crack under the pressure of what they were doing to him. And especially Odinist guards. Or guards wearing Odinist patches. So if they're wearing Odinist patches, you know that damn well that they're Odinists. Damn well they're Odinists. And they were torturing that man for no reason at all. More than likely, trying to get him to break mentally and physically when he didn't do nothing wrong. Because if his DNA wasn't underneath their fingernails and somebody else's was, and could the girls have been dumped there under the bridge because somebody said girls down the hill, but that doesn't mean they were killed there. They could have been killed somewhere else. Because did they even find any blood there at the scene? I'm kind of wondering if they did or not. If they didn't, then that scene was a body dump. They weren't killed there. What would one of you guys do if you're in Richard Allen's spot and you know your DNA is not underneath those girls' fingernails, and you find out at the trial that your DNA is not under those girls' fingernails. It's not your DNA, and you didn't fit the witness descriptions. There's something rotten in Delphi. There really is. If I would have been the prosecutor and I would have heard the sheriff on the stand state that his DNA didn't match and the witness description didn't match, I would immediately said, "Your Honor, I would like to dismiss the charges, and we need to look for the real killer." But no, the prosecutor didn't do that. I think the prosecutor is somehow involved in this cover up. And I don't trust Judge Gall either. I don't. I don't trust Judge Gall. Because she had some very, very contentious moments with his attorneys. And then she removed his attorneys from him. That should not be allowed. She was doing that, I believe, to punish Richard Allen. She comes off as quite a witch. She does. Judge Gall comes off as quite a witch. Yeah, and Richard Allen's attorneys had to go to the Indiana Supreme Court just to get put back on the case. I hate commercials. You know, I really do. I hate commercials. Um, do you guys think that Judge Gall should have been removed from the case? I do. I think Judge Gall should have been removed from the case. I do. I think they should have had a new judge because clearly this judge is showing bias. She is favoring the prosecution and showing bias towards the defense and towards Richard Allen. I mean, why would she remove his freaking defense attorneys? That's bias. That shows hatred that she has for his defense attorneys and him. They should have kicked her off the case a long time ago. They really should have. They should have kicked Judge Gall off the case a long time ago. And that's, yeah, I just have to say this. The Idaho 4 case is not the Greek Olympics. Not by a long shot. I mean, a lot of these true crime cases are not the Greek Olympics. That's just kind of a stupid comparison. But I want to know, do you guys feel that Richard Allen is innocent or guilty? I think he's innocent. I really do. Because if you look at the anomalies in this case, some very messed up anomalies. Let's see. No, the DNA found wasn't his. Witness description of the bridge guy didn't match him. The judge removing his attorneys. Yeah, I think he's a patsy. I really do. I think he is 100% patsy, because why else was he mentally tortured and physically tortured and emotionally tortured? Oh, why would they put somebody not convicted of a crime in prison instead of in county jail? Let me think about that. Like always, guys, like, subscribe, and comment on my channel. Hit that bell notification for any new uploads. And this man's innocent and he's being railroaded. And by our very own judicial system. Yep. Y'all just have a good Saturday. This is Robert with True Crime Podcast. I'm out. Peace. Stay in the house.